was yet another day of drama and disruption in the Rajya Sabha. For the first time, the opposition has moved a no-confidence motion against the chairman of the House of Elders. The opposition claims that Vice President Dhankhar is biased and behaves as if he was a spokesperson of the Modi government. The BJP says this is an attempt by the Congress to divert attention from the link that its leaders have with George Soros. The political showdown is escalating.
Slogans and showdown in Rajya Sabha continued on Wednesday. The India Alliance MPs upped the ante against Jagdeep Dhankhar. For the first time, the opposition has submitted a notice for the Vice President's removal. Signed by 60 opposition MPs, the no-confidence motion against Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar says that his conduct is unbecoming of high-level constitutional authorities and that his term as Rajya Sabha Chairman was rife with instances where he acted in a manner that was explicitly partisan and unfair towards members of the opposition. The opposition has also accused Dhankhar of making disparaging comments about opposition members. The India bloc also held a joint press conference where it accused the Rajya Sabha chairman of doing rajniti and not following rules.
कभी वे सरकार के तारीफ में कसीदे पढ़ने लगते हैं, कभी खुद को आरएसएस का एकलव्य बताने लगते हैं। इस तरह की बयानबाजी उनके पद को शोभा नहीं देती। सभापति जी सदन के अंदर प्रतिपक्ष के नेताओं को अपने विरोधियों की तरह देखते हैं। दोनों सदनों के विपक्षी नेताओं पर आपत्तिजनक टिप्पणियां कर उन्हें अपमानित भी करते हैं।
The opposition has also accused Jagdeep Dhankhar of being government spokesperson.
वे अपनी अगली प्रमोशन के लिए सरकार के स्पोक्सपर्सन बनकर काम कर रहे हैं, ऐसा हमें दिख रहा है। मुझे ये कहते हुए कोई संकोच नहीं कि द बिगेस्ट डिस्टर्बर इन राज्यसभा इज द चेयरमैन हिमसेल्फ। बार-बार इंटरप्शन करके हाउस को बंद करने की कोशिश रूलिंग पार्टी से और चेयरमैन साहब की तरफ से ज्यादा होता है।
Sir, I'll come to the deputy leader after all.
The BJP says that the opposition's no-confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chair is Congress's bid to divert attention from its alleged links with controversial billionaire George Soros.
आज जब सोनिया गांधी जी और सोरोस का लिंक का जो नाम आ रहा है, हमने ये लिंक नहीं किया है। ये रिपोर्ट हमारा नहीं है। अंतरराष्ट्रीय जगत में, पूरा दुनिया में ये रिपोर्ट पढ़ रहा है। कांग्रेस का नेतृत्व और सोरोस का OCCRP का जो लिंक है, ये देश के सामने में शर्म आना चाहिए आप लोगों को। देश के विरोध में काम करने वाले, भारत के खिलाफ काम करने वालों के साथ आप लोग तालमेल में रहते हैं। जो जॉर्ज सोरोस बोलते हैं, आप लोग भारत में वही भाषा बात करते हैं।
In fact, the BJP has made fresh allegations against the Congress, claiming a link between Rahul Gandhi's aunt and Soros.
The attention of the nation from the issue of the sovereignty of the country, देश की संप्रभुता पर जो खतरा है, आंतरिक और बाह्य सुरक्षा पर जो खतरा है, और जिसमें कांग्रेस पार्टी का योगदान है, ये टूल बनकर के, औजार बनकर के उनका साथ दे रहे हैं, इस पर चर्चा होनी चाहिए।
Congress continues to counter the BJP's attack with its protest against Adani.
जाति के बात करने वाले एक साधारण किसान परिवार से आया हुआ किसान का बेटा जगदीप धनखड़ जी के विरोध में अविश्वास प्रस्ताव लेकर आना, ये किसका असम्मान है? ये किसान पुत्र का असम्मान है। अ मैन हु कम्स फ्रॉम अ हम्बल बैकग्राउंड, उसका असम्मान है।
वो तो आरोप लगाते जाएंगे। हमने कहा देखिए हाउस चलना चाहिए, ठीक है, और हम जो भी आरोप लगाए मेरे ऊपर लगाते जाइए, लगाते हो, लगाते जाओ, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, हम हाउस को चलाएंगे।
The opposition neither has the numbers nor the time to push through the no trust motion against the Vice President in this Parliament session. But the political showdown is only going to escalate. Bureau Report, India Today.
On the first day of the Rajya Sabha, the then Vice President and Chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan said, and I quote, "I belong to no party and that means I belong to every party in the House. That is the essence of impartiality." Is Vice President Dhankhar living up to that ideal? Have his actions failed to live up to what is supposed to be the role and responsibility of the chair, or is the opposition just looking for some desperate reason to put the Vice President and the office of the chair under pressure so that they get more time to speak and can run the House the way they'd like to run the House? To talk about this, I'm joined on the broadcast by Sushmita Deb, Member of Parliament, National Spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. She is the one who is part of the party that actually brought this no confidence motion, or the idea of this no confidence motion against the Vice President. I have Aparajita Sarangi, Member of Parliament, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Mahua Maji joins us, Member of Parliament from the JMM. I want to go across and show you some clips of the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha, which will give you a sense of why the opposition claims to be outraged, the charges they're levelling against the Vice President, and then we'll kickstart our debate.
Any challenge to the unity of the nation, to the integrity of the nation, from without or outside, requires all of us to offer united challenge. This is not a challenge to one section or the other. It is a challenge to our very existence. We as a nation are committed to fight these sinister forces, these forces that are inimical to India. This inimical force mechanism, a deep state that is evolving, is required to be neutralized by all of us. माननीय नड्डा जी, मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि आज से करीब 25 साल पहले सदस्य न होने के बाद मैं आरएसएस का एकलव्य बन गया। और क्यों बना? तपस्वी लोग हैं, राष्ट्रभक्त हैं, समर्पण की भावना उत्कृष्ट है, दूसरे विचार को ग्रहण करते हैं। और मैं तो आश्चर्यचकित हूं कि खुद के अलावा देश की सोचते हैं, समाज की सोचते हैं, तो आप वो एक्सरसाइज बंद कर दो। मैंने कह दिया है।
आज मैं आपके सामने अंबाला और आसपास के लोगों की लंबे समय
मिस्टर
मांग को लेकर
you are shouting at the chair. Your conduct is ugliest in the house. You are shouting at the chair. I condemn your action. Next time I'll show you the door. How dare you shout at the chair? And senior leaders are not taking note of it. This is unbecoming conduct.
So he calls himself the Eklavya of the RSS. Remember, he's supposed to be in a non-partisan chair. Is this conduct okay? Does the opposition have reason to feel aggrieved, or is this just a pressure-building tactic? I want to show you the numbers in the Rajya Sabha, because remember, to be able to move the no-confidence motion, you need 14 days' time, which they don't have. There are only 8 days left before this particular winter session ends. And then, secondly, you need the majority in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, which the opposition simply doesn't have. So, I want to go across to Sushmita Deb and Aparajita Sarangi. Sushmita Deb, to you first. You know, you're moving this no confidence motion, knowing fully well that you don't have 10-14 days which are required, because you have far fewer than that, which is the number of days required before this motion can be moved. Secondly, you don't have the numbers in the Rajya Sabha and in the Lok Sabha. So, is this just a desperate pressure building tactic from the opposition?
No, there is no desperation. I take objection to the use of that word. It's very simple. Once the motion is moved, he has to first allow us to read it in the parliament, which he's not allowing by using the BJP to create chaos in Parliament. Now you're talking about the number game. Rahul, there are some instances in life, it's not about winning the war, but there is a message. There is a message, and in moving this motion, because the way the Rajya Sabha is being run, we have grown into parliamentarians knowing that the chair is supreme and one must respect the chair. But I think sometimes the bias becomes so glaring, to remain silent is actually a disservice to parliamentary democracy. The kind of personal remarks that come across the house from the chair, the kind of disparaging comments one makes towards members of parliament is totally unbecoming and hurtful. And last but not the least, any person who watches the proceedings in Rajya Sabha would straight away know that there is everything partisan in the way it's being run.
Aparajita Sarangi, the job of the chair is to be like a neutral umpire. Even if you are a partisan observer, you would observe that he's not really being neutral. I mean, even most BJP leaders I speak to off record, they also say, okay, is he overdoing it? Just a little bit. He's supposed to behave like a neutral umpire. When he says, I'm an eklavya of the RSS, he clearly carries his political beliefs to the chair, and some of that comes out in his conduct. Is that problematic in your view, or do you think it's kosher?
We are well aware of the fact that bringing a no-confidence motion against the Vice President of the country, the chairperson of Rajya Sabha, is for the first time. And this shows the disrespect to the chair by all these opposition party people. Now, having said that, let me tell you that these people have gone for diversionary tactics. In fact, this is not the first time that they had decided to go for bringing this motion. Last session also they were contemplating, but they did not. This time they did, because we talked of George Soros. As simple as that. So I think this I will term as diversionary tactics, one. And number two.
No, but what does Mamata Banerjee have to do with George Soros? She's the one who moved this idea.
Prime Minister Modi.
I mean, isn't it a bit of a stretch that now you're seeing the hand of George Soros in everything that's happening?
Has been established in the country. I will definitely say that, it is all corresponding to what happened in the Lok Sabha. You remember the other day what happened. During the 0 hour, a senior leader of the party, Bharatiya Janata Party, rose up to put forth 10 questions. After 3 questions pertaining to George Soros, we wanted to know what was the relation between Sonia Gandhi ji and the George Soros Foundation. That was it. And there was an uproar, absolute uproar, mayhem in the Lok Sabha from the opposition side. Why so? If you have absolutely nothing to hide, you should be smiling there, and you should be actually have the patience, displaying the patience to listen to the rest of the 7 questions. And from there it started. So for me and for all of us who are watching us, it is all diversionary tactics.
Okay, you're saying this is linked to the charges against George Soros, which is why the opposition is so agitated. Let Sushmita Dev respond to that.
See, I just want to say one thing. In our democracy and as per our constitution, Madam Sarangi, nobody is above the law, not even the Vice President, not you, not me, and not even the President of India or the Prime Minister of India. So don't talk about the Vice President of India like he's God. Oh, he's the Vice President of India, and how can you do this to him? Sorry, the Constitution.
No, but aren't you disrespecting this chair? To make your point, Sushmita, is one thing. Ma'am, is the opposition in this no confidence motion overdoing it? Because ultimately it's the chair which also needs to be respected.
No, excuse me. I didn't hear what you said. But first, I'd like to reply to my colleague, Madam Sarangi. Secondly, you're talking about diversionary tactics. Look at the state of unemployment, inflation situation, the ghastly situation in Manipur, how you're depriving states, and you're bothered about Soros. I mean, that is the biggest diversionary tactic. You have exposed yourself, madam, as a party which does not want to debate on real issues that are impacting the nation. I mean, anybody, any common citizen who is today starving because of food inflation will choose food inflation over Soros. Please believe me. And if you don't know that, then you don't know the ground reality of what is happening in India.
Okay, I want to go across to Himanshu Mishra from our National Bureau. He's tracking this. Himanshu, is this a red herring that they've brought this no confidence motion knowing they don't have the numbers, knowing they don't have the number of days required to be able to present this before the Rajya Sabha? कुछ होगा इस no confidence motion का या एक तरीके से they're just going through the motions, तमाशा कर रहे हैं ताकि प्रेशर बने वाइस चेयरमैन पे और चेयर ऑफ द हाउस पे?
देखिए, बिल्कुल राहुल, विपक्ष की कोशिश है कि इसको लेकर जो है एक प्रेशर टैक्टिक्स की जाए। और दूसरी तरफ अगर आप देखें तो विपक्ष एक मैसेज देना चाहता है कि वाइस प्रेसिडेंट जो है वो अपोजिशन को जो है बोलने का मौका नहीं देते हैं, टोका टाकी ज्यादा करते हैं, रूलिंग पार्टीज को जो है ज्यादा मौका देते हैं। लेकिन अगर आप इस नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन में देखें जिसमें इम्पीचमेंट की बात है, 14 दिन का समय लगता है अगर आपको इस पे डिवीजन कराना हो। सबसे पहले जो है जब ये मोशन लाया जाएगा तो उसके लिए एक्सेप्ट किया जाए नहीं किया जाए तब डिवीजन होगा, उसके बाद डिस्कशन होगा और उसके बाद जो है उस पर फिर से डिवीजन होगा, यानी कि वोटिंग होगा। 14 दिन का टाइम है। अब सरकार जो सेक्रेटरी जनरल है राज्यसभा के, उनको तय करना है कब लाना है। और क्योंकि ये चेयरमैन के खिलाफ है तो जो डिप्टी चेयरमैन है हरिवंश, उनके साथ कंसल्टेट किया जाएगा और उसके बाद किया जाएगा। तो मुझे लगता है कि इस सेशन में तो नहीं आ पाएगा क्योंकि ये सिर्फ इसी सेशन के लिए मान्य है। अगर अगले सेशन में लाना होगा तो विपक्ष को दोबारा से जो मोशन है वो मूव करना पड़ेगा। और राज्यसभा में अगर ये मोशन पास भी हो जाता है तो उसके बाद आपको लोकसभा में जाना पड़ेगा क्योंकि लोकसभा के भी जो वोटर है वो उपराष्ट्रपति के लिए चुनाव के लिए वोट करते हैं। तो ऐसे में लोकसभा में भी इस मोशन को पास कराना पड़ेगा। तो कहीं ना कहीं विपक्ष ये बात अच्छी तरीके से जानता है कि नंबर्स उनके पास नहीं है, लेकिन एक मैसेज देना चाहते हैं कि जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पोस्ट है वो कहीं ना कहीं अपोजिशन पार्टीज की जो आवाज है उसको उठाने नहीं दे रही है। उसको टोका टाकी कहीं ना कहीं बायसनेस की बात को वो संदेश के तौर पे देना चाहते हैं।
That's the message they want to send, that he's acting like a biased umpire. Himanshu Mishra, thank you for joining us with that perspective. Aparajita Sarangi. Now here's the thing. Even if this is just pressure building tactic and it succeeds to the extent that the Vice President realizes he's under scrutiny and therefore moderates his behavior a bit, that's essentially what the opposition is aiming for. Even they know they don't have the numbers. They know they don't have the number of days required to bring this motion. Therefore, it's just a pressure building tactic to trying to tell the Vice President, please behave like a neutral umpire.
Now let me tell you that the Vice President, who is also the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, has to run the Rajya Sabha as per the parliamentary procedures. Somebody standing on the chair and waving the paper at the Rajya Sabha chair cannot be accepted. He has a no-nonsense approach to things. His working style, in fact, we all need to appreciate. And let me tell you that he wants to enforce discipline within the Rajya Sabha. He wants to uphold the decorum and dignity of the House. What's wrong in that? In fact, he has been running the House so very well. He's erudite, he's a highly respectable gentleman and with loads of experience in public life. So I think it is an absolute expression of disrespect to the chair, number one. Number two, as you said, I fully endorse, they know fully well that this no confidence motion is baseless and this is without feet, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, as we say always. You know, we have majority both in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, one. And number two, this 14 days notice is also not been given.
Okay, so Sushmita, this is a bogey.
Let me tell you,
this is
Rahul,
a political bogey because you don't have 14 days required. If you had to do this, you should have done this with better planning. If you had 14 days, you could have pressed for a division. Even if you lost, you know you don't have the time. So this is all sound and fury, not amounting to any tangible result.
You know, Rahul, you are so focused on the technicality of it that you are really missing the whole point about what a parliamentary democracy was. You seem to be elated that 14 days, 14 days. Please, let me tell you something. What is triggered? When was this triggered? It has been triggered by a certain situation and circumstances that has happened in the Rajya Sabha. The person you just asked, interviewed before me on the show, he's himself saying, if not this session, it will go to the next session. So why are you so fixated on 14? Please focus on what you showed and ran before we came on the show. How can a person in the chair talk about which organization, which ideologue he belongs to? It is unprecedented. It is unprecedented. Today, when a member of parliament with his limited time quota speaks and the chair interrupts to give his opinion 16 times in the middle of the chair, that is blasphemous in a democracy. To keep opening the mic of the parliamentary affairs ministers 3 times and not allow the leader of the opposition to speak and then say, House adjourned. That is murder of democracy. It doesn't matter whether we win the vote or not. Let me make it crystal clear. So don't keep rubbing in that point. There is a message in this that we will not allow democracy to be murdered by the highest position, which is the chair. And add to that, it is nothing personal. Madam Sarangi keeps saying he's done this in public life and that in public life. He's an eminent lawyer, farmer's son, very good, well done. But when he sits on this chair, he doesn't have a face. His background doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is what is he doing while he's on that chair.
Parajita Sarangi,
it's painful to see what he's doing.
You know, when the likes of Somnath Chatterjee sat on the chair, that was in the Lok Sabha, you know, he was attempting to be so non-partisan and fair that he fell out with his own party because he said, I must be not apolitical, I must be above party line. So therefore the CPIM started disliking him towards the end of his career. You know, that was one kind of chairmanship. You've got now, in a different era, very different kind of chairperson who is very proud of his RSS background, who keeps tom-tomming it, who jumps in when the opposition is speaking, tries to put them down, encourages the treasury benches to speak. So it's almost as if the umpire or the master of this orchestra is conducting the orchestra in a way that's supposed to favor the treasury benches.
So let me tell you very emphatically that all these people put together are highly disturbed, are highly annoyed and are highly uncomfortable after the Maharashtra and Haryana drubbing. They know where they stand. And in fact, I wish, Sushmita ji said, for whom I have a lot of respect, she said we wanted to have, discussion on various issues like price rise and law and order, etc. Yes, of course, we too wanted. Parliamentary Affairs Minister all the while have been requesting everybody to, come to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and have some kind of discussion. But they keep shifting the goalpost. They want some kind of acrimony expression. They want bitterness open in the public so that, there is a diversion from the real topic. Now they came, Congress had come. I can talk of Congress and people who supported the Congress. At one point of time with Pegasus, with ED, with Central Vista, with, a reservation on the Arthik Aadhar. And ultimately in the court, they had to bite the dust. So they don't do their homework. They don't have a common agenda, as we call it, common minimum program. They don't know what to talk about. And what they have been doing all these days is unfortunate. I'm a member of parliament and I really feel very bad about it. Sometimes you see somebody is distributing Indian flag and flower. And somebody is distributing masks, somebody is doing mock interview. What is this going on? Is this mockery?
But some of these actions, wearing these masks, putting up this political theatre, Sushmita Dev, even the Trinamool seems a bit uncomfortable. I saw some of the histrionics that we were seeing from the Congress weren't really supported by the Trinamool. Are you a little uncomfortable with some of these Congress leaders in their theatrics going overboard?
Please, we have seen Smriti Irani putting onion garlands around her. We've seen Sushma Swaraj saying, I will shave my head, if Sonia Gandhi wins. So please, let's not talk about theatrics. Let's not do that. I mean, I can give a plethora of examples where BJP has acted in many different ways to draw attention to a certain issue. And, I'm repeatedly saying it, Rahul. Today is what happened in Rajya Sabha. Yesterday, what happened in Rajya Sabha. It's Trinamool Congress had very important 0 hours on price rise, on poverty, on the rising prices of fertilizer. And it is the BJP MPs who stood up and created havoc. And let me tell you, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, he should realize that he's not a spokesperson of the BJP. He's a minister with an important portfolio. He's become a mouthpiece of the BJP. Today, Madam Sarangi is saying that ये महाराष्ट्र में हारने के बाद ये हो गया और हरियाणा के हारने के बाद ये हो गया. Madam, what we have brought against the chairman is not about electoral politics. It's about parliamentary democracy. Something senior leaders in the BJP also appreciated at a certain time. Vajpayee ji was known for it.
Okay, I'm out of time. Final words of Parajita Sarangi.
They have absolutely no respect for parliamentary democracy.
Sometimes it seems when Parliament starts that the government is as keen on ensuring that Parliament doesn't run. Even before the opposition can make much of a noise. Earlier they used to make a lot of noise. It seemed that the chair wanted to tire them out. Now the moment there's a bit of a rakas, khatam karo, adjourn karo. It seems that the government's also not very excited about running Parliament at the moment.
The government wants to run the Parliament, and that has been the message all through from all of us, number one. And number two, let me tell you that 15 bills had to come in the Lok Sabha. Only one bill has been passed so far. And we are well aware of the fact that for every minute for running the Parliament, we are spending 2.5 lakh rupees. Who will know better than the government which is running the country? So I think we all need to come together, and it's a collective responsibility. Never say that it's a responsibility of the ruling party. No, not at all. It's collective responsibility. We need to act with a sense of maturity. I think this is absolutely lacking on the part of the opposition parties, and they have resorted to diversionary tactics, and we will stick to that, because I think not only me, all janta of the country are feeling this.
Okay, I'm out of time. You've heard both sides. As always,
Can I say one thing, Rahul?
Time khatam ho gaya. Now I must be fair. Before I am accused of being Dhankar, I must be fair. You had an equal opportunity, but I'll give you 10 seconds to jaldi bolo. Before they say opposition ki yahan pe bhi awaaz dawa di.
Not a single bill has gone to the standing committee. That is immaturity. Not a single bill has gone to standing committee.
I mean, that's the decision of the House. How can we send?
That is unparliamentary,
whether a particular bill goes to the standing committee or not.
That's how a fascist government runs. That's how a fascist government works. When no scrutiny happens.
Full of sound and fury signifying nothing, that is what it is.
People have understood what I have said. Your viewers have understood. Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you, Sushmita Dev. Thank you, Aparajita Sarangi. The unfortunate part is that all these leaders are very excited about debating on television channels. They come, they participate, they make their points. But they don't do this in Parliament. They should just come, make their points, fight it out with the power of their rhetoric and their argument on the floor of the House. Otherwise, you're just reducing Parliament to nothingness. I mean, there is very little business. This is happening session after session after session, and it really is terribly unfortunate for Indian democracy.